Sup guys, Zeke and Make It here, the Bully Boy himself coming at you with another episode of Trash Talk with Bully Boy. Thanks to our sponsors, Brass Knuckle Mastiffs, breeders of badass guard dogs. These dogs are monsters and will protect their family if shit hits the fan. Check out the socials, Brass Knuckle Mastiffs. Next Generation Mixed Martial Arts Mandra. If you want to train with the baddest mofos in MMA, come down and check out Next Generation Mixed Martial Arts. Check out their socials. We are NG. Today's guest is one of the toughest men on the planet. He is a 5th degree BJJ black belt. He is a 3 times BJJ world champ. He's an MMA Hall of Famer. He is a veteran mixed martial artist of such organizations as Pride FC, UFC, Shudo, and a 3 times King of the Cage champion. Not to mention one of the main pioneers of Nogi Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu throughout the world, and he is the head honcho of Next Generation Mixed Martial Arts worldwide. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the one, the only, Chris, the Westside Strangler, Brennan.
What's up, Coach Chris? How are you, bro?
Good, buddy. How are you?
Yeah, I'm good, man. All right. So, with all this coronavirus lockdown, how are you doing in this lockdown? What have you been doing?
It's not been too crazy different for us. It sucks that I don't get to teach my classes and go to class, but otherwise, Tyler's home from school, so it's just me, Luke, and Ty hanging out, kind of like always. The only like big difference is we don't get to go to restaurants and stuff like that, and we don't get to go teach class, but we're still going to the gym training. Luke's camp started a week ago, so we've been going just training with us to help him get ready until everything else opens back up.
Oh yeah, nice, man. Yeah, it does really suck, because you can't go anywhere, and like I can't go to my gym. I can't go to the Next Generation up here because it's closed because of coronavirus. It sucks, man.
Yeah, that sucks. Do you have any mats?
Yeah, we have this room where it's 3x3 mat space, and we just roll there. It's pretty cool. We just do normal stuff that we would always do in at the gym. Yeah.
Good deal.
Yeah. All right. So you've been training for a long time now. So how old were you when you first started training?
21. I started training. Yeah, I was late, but it was early in the game, but late age-wise, like compared to now. But I started training literally the day after UFC 1 in 1993.
Oh, yeah, nice, man.
Yeah, and now I've been training for 27 years.
Nice, man. And with the UFC, because you fought in the UFC before, and it was a lot different than today. Do you think it changed for the better?
No. I was a fan. I mean, obviously for the crowd, the fans and stuff like that, it's better that it's bigger. But I was a fan of the less rules, the longer rounds. I think if you allowed knees to the head on the ground still, it would force more jiu-jitsu in MMA as opposed to striking. It'd be harder to just get back up because people are allowed to knee you in the head. So you'd end up seeing people, I think, play a little more guard game and be forced to play jiu-jitsu and not just hang out. And you couldn't play like the hand down on the mat game, so they couldn't knee your head. So it'd make people fight a little. To be honest, I think you wouldn't get kneed in the head as often as people think by allowing them, because they wouldn't be in the positions to actually get kneed. They would play a different game. I just liked it a little better when it was longer rounds, less rules. But it's great now that it's so popular.
Yeah, true. Yeah, I really enjoy watching the UFC just because I'm in the fighting, and it's cool seeing other people fight in an octagon. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. All right. So, who was your biggest inspiration when you were first started training?
That's a tough one. I liked Hoist. I watched Hoist win the first UFC, and that's what made me start training. And then I was training actually with Chemo, who was this huge guy that fought Hoist in UFC 3, and he was a monster. And Hoist beat him. And once he beat him, I was like, man, this is definitely like jiu-jitsu is like the where it's at, So I was motivated, I guess, by him seeing that he was a not a very big guy and still was able to beat the big guys. But honestly, man, I was very self-motivated my whole career just because I knew what I wanted to do and what level I wanted to get to. But I really didn't look at too many guys and be like, I want to be like that guy, you know? Like my fourth fight was Pat Miletich, and he was the number one dude in the world, and it was my fourth fight, and he was my fifth fight, and he was my seventh fight. So, you know, I definitely wasn't looking up to him because he was a guy I wanted to beat. But at the same time, you know, I knew he was like, I respect everyone. I think, you know, I respect game top guys. I think it's awesome. And, you know, that kind of motivates me, but I never really had a guy, you know, I had for an example, my uncle, his name is Russ. He raced motocross, and, that guy, when I was growing up, is someone that I idolized and looked up to, and his drive and motivation and whatnot. So I just kind of carried that type of thing, but I didn't have any actual fighters that were like a big thing to me at the time, because I kind of started before there were any real big names besides Hoist.
Nice, man. And who inspires you now?
My kids, for
Nice,
sure.
man.
My kids, they, you know, you're very lucky when you get to like my age and your kids decide to do what you did, you know, and with Tyler wrestling and doing jiu-jitsu, and Lucas fighting and wrestling and doing jiu-jitsu, it just makes it that much easier. Number one, for us to stay close together, you know, relationship wise. But I have so much that I can show them, you know, no matter how good they get, even if they're better than me, I'll still be able to coach them and be able to show them a lot of things. So it's been really fortunate, and their drive, you know, to be good, and their competitiveness. If they lose, you know, it's like some guys that they lose, it's whatever, and they're moving on. For them, it's the end of the world because they bust their ass to get there. So, you know, you put in the work. It's that much more heartbreaking when you lose, but it's that much more rewarding when you win. So it's a tough situation, but those are the two guys, like those are the two people who I really, it's funny I say I look up to my kids, but they give me inspiration just because I'm running from them, right? They're chasing me and I'm running from them, trying to stay better or trying to stay as good as them. So it's always motivating for me.
Yeah, your sons are real inspiration too, because I remember seeing a video of you guys in lockdown, and you are doing this like drill video, and I thought that was pretty cool, man.
A drill?
Yeah. It was like some sort of warm up within the guard, and it was that armbar one where you gotta that one
Very cool.
me and my sister watched that one, and we tried drilling that. It was pretty good.
Awesome.
Yeah. So your fight name is the Westside Strangler. Where did that come from?
It actually came from a buddy of mine. Jeremy is one of my best friends. We were in Mississippi at the UFC, and at the time I had choked a lot of people in my fights. I guillotine people and guillotine a lot of people in training and stuff. So I was a choker, and it was before I was like real huge on the Kimura. And we were at the UFC, and a big fight. Me and my friend cornered Tito Ortiz, and Tito got in a huge fight with Ken Shamrock after the fight. So we got locked in a room for a couple hours, and we had to be escorted by police back to our hotel because it was just me, Jeremy, Tito, I think one of Tito's friends, and then like all of the Lions Den guys and some Hammer House guys. So when we got escorted back, they were all waiting outside for us. And Mikey Burnett was a fighter from the Lions Den, really tough kid. And he was like my size. And I said, hey, if this breaks off, I'm going to fight Mikey. And that guy's name was the East Side Assassin. And my friend Jeremy goes, oh, the Westside Strangler versus the East Side Assassin. And I was like, oh, shit, that's a great name. And then from that point on, it stuck.
Yeah, it's a dope name, dude. I really think it fits you. All right. So what is your proudest achievement in your fight career?
In my fight career, Probably like my proudest achievement, I guess, is probably fighting and winning in Pride. My first Pride Bushido match. I actually beat the guy 2 times in one round because he pretended it didn't tap, and we had to fight again. And then I broke his shoulder. But that was probably my biggest achievement. Getting to the UFC was my ultimate goal in the beginning, was just to hear John McCarthy say, "Are you ready? Let's get it on," you know. And for me, when it was time for him to say that, I was fighting for the belt. So when he said it, he said, "This is for the lightweight championship. Are you ready? Are you ready? Let's get it on." You know, so I was like super pumped at that point. But yeah, I always just wanted to be better and better and better, but I didn't have any crazy goals, to be the UFC champ. I want to take care of my family. And I came from kind of a not a perfect background, and I didn't finish school. So it was really important to me that I was successful and was able to provide a life for my kids, and whatnot. So.
Up, you froze. Up.
Sorry, you there?
Yeah,
Sorry.
you froze.
Apologize. I worked extra hard to make sure that I had a successful career for my kids to be able to be successful as well, not have to live like I did.
Oh, yeah, nice, man. And if you could fight anyone, past or present, who would it be?
I always say Matt Serra, and I love Matt. He's a good dude, but he's got really good jiu-jitsu and scrambly jiu-jitsu like me. So I always thought it would be a good fight. He hits a ton on the feet. He's a real heavy hitter, but his jiu-jitsu is good, and I've just always felt like it'd be a good fight. Other than that, I'd like to fight Pat Miletich 3 more times.
Nice, man. All right. So you were a pioneer of Nogi BJJ. So what made you decide to take that direction?
Well, initially the reason I started doing jiu-jitsu was because I wanted to fight. Like, I wanted to fight at the beginning. The first thing I saw was the UFC. I had gotten in a lot of fights growing up, so I just wanted to fight. And I was smart enough right then to know that jiu-jitsu was the way, to get going fast. So I started doing jiu-jitsu right away. Shit, I'm sorry. What was your question?
So you were a pioneer of Nogi BJJ, and what made you decide to take that direction?
Right. So the point was I was doing jiu-jitsu, but I didn't want to compete in sport jiu-jitsu like in the gi. I wanted to fight, and no matter how many Brazilians tell you that training in the gi is going to make your no-gi better, that's not true. So I tried to take the gi off as fast as possible to learn how to do it for a fight, how to do it. There was no point in training in a gi to take it off for my fight, because then you create bad habits. And like, you don't race a car in the dirt if you're going to go race in real life in the street, right? It's one or the other. So I wanted to train functional in what I was actually doing. So I started training in privates when I was in Brazil without the gi on. And then as soon as I came home, I opened my gym, and when I opened my gym, it was all no-gi. And I had a really good friend from Brazil that I was going to open with, and he was a gi guy, and he wanted it all to be gi. And we ended up having not a falling out, but falling out as far as the business went. He ended up not joining with me, and I opened my my gym as a blue belt. And the rest is history. I never put the gi on again. And I caught a lot of slack, from the Brazilians. They kind of blackballed me for a little while, and didn't give me credit for how good I was until I started winning, with jiu-jitsu a lot. I have 21 wins, and 19 are by submission, and 18 are in the first round. So obviously my jiu-jitsu works. And then that's why I wanted to be different. I wanted to, have it be the most realistic way possible. And like, my kids have never put a gi on, and they kill it in tournaments, So I just wanted to show that you could do it without it.
Yeah, I do prefer training without a gi on, because, like, honestly, when I'm competing, and I'm fighting people, and we're in the Nogi part. Like most of the kids are usually always training with the gi, so we're doing Nogi, and they're always like having bad habits, grabbing my shirt, and it's like super annoying. But
Sure.
yeah, I do prefer with the Nogi because I don't know, I reckon it's better.
Yeah, it's just like, and it's just me and my beliefs, right? Like I could probably, if I continue to have gi and no gi in my gym, I might make more money, but it's not my way. It's not my style. I have, I'm the one and only no-gi guy in my area, and that's where everyone knows to come if they want no-gi.
Nice, man. So what do you find more rewarding, fighting or coaching?
Coaching for sure. Coaching my kids especially. But coaching, like I loved fighting, I loved winning. But I feel like I'm even a better coach. So when I can tell someone how to do it and they do it and it's successful and they win, that's for sure more rewarding to me for sure. And then being able to coach my kids through all the jiu-jitsu matches and even helping coach them a little bit in wrestling, and then coaching Lucas in his fights, like it's for sure way more rewarding as a coach.
Nice, man. And so what advice do you have for any up and coming fighters?
Fighters,
Yeah, or anyone in total as well.
as far as fighting goes, I think it's important that you train all three, striking, wrestling, and jiu-jitsu separately, and then combine them. But I think there's MMA is kind of its own style now, and that's why the jiu-jitsu is weak. The wrestling is okay. The striking is pretty good because everyone's really focusing on the striking. But you get a guy who's a specialist and is able to take you down and is good at wrestling and good at jiu-jitsu, they're going to beat you, right? And so I think it's important that you train all three things separately, sort of like GSP did, and how Lucas is doing it, and then combine the MMA together, during your camps and stuff like that. But so I think it's important to find a place. If you can find a place that has all of it in one, like we do, that's important. So you don't have to bounce around places, and then be aware of politics and promoters and stuff like that, so that you don't get bad matches matched up with someone with way more experience than you, stuff like that, and then just kind of have someone, have people you can trust. Also, to not have just yes men, and I don't know if you know what that is, but a yes man is someone who, like, if for example, for me, when I was coming up, everyone was pretty positive all the time. Oh yeah, you can do this. Oh, you can do that. And no one was real blunt and honest with me about you should probably go away and train in a camp with other guys. Like I was the best guy, and it's not always great to be the best guy in the room. I want to find guys who are better at striking, better at wrestling, and train with those guys. But you have people always telling you yes and no one really correcting you and being honest with you. And I think it's important to have someone that keeps you grounded and is honest with you about everything.
Nice, man. That's some good advice for you guys if you want to start like training in that. So yeah, listen to that. It's really good. And where do you see yourself in 5 years?
5 years. Hopefully a 5-time jiu-jitsu world champion, so I can at least get 2 more in. And then coaching, man, I just want my gyms to grow. I want to be coaching, hopefully 5 years, Lucas will have the Bellator title. Tyler will be.
I'll be president again. There
Sorry.
we go.
He'll be a senior year of graduated college already, and hopefully have done very well in wrestling in college, and then deciding on what he's going to do, whether it be fighting or competing at the ADCC type level for jiu-jitsu. So, yeah, I mean, basically for me, I want to do worlds a couple more times and then just focus all my attention on coaching just a few people, and as far as fighters and whatnot goes, and then growing my gyms and just getting better and better students. A couple years ago I had 7 black belts, and now I think I have 22. So it's had a big growth in my black belts in the last year and a half.
Nice, man. And I really hope you actually do go world again. It would be really cool to see you do that. Yeah. All right, cool. So that's all for today. Thanks for coming on my show, Coach Chris.
Thank you so much, dude. It's awesome being on.
Yeah, no worries, bro. All right, I'll talk to you later, bro.
All right, see you, buddy.
See ya.
Thanks for tuning in on this episode of Trash Talk with Bully Boy. Thanks for Chris Brennan for coming on the show. It was good yarning with you. And make sure to go check out my sponsors, Brass Knuckle Mastiffs and Next Generation Mixed Martial Arts Mandra. Make sure to go like, subscribe, and share. So